home tonight, your chance to win an Apple iPod thanks to AOL for broadband.
This is my chance, Fez?
Not your chance. No, the listener's chance. When I say you, I mean they.
Oh, you mean y'all.
Y'all. Y'all get a chance.
Did you grow up saying y'all?
Yeah, we said y'all.
We always said you guys. I want to go with you guys. That's what I called my parents, you guys. Where are you guys going?
Only one of us is a guy.
All right, let's check with the Wonder Boy. We're talking about good stuff. Stuff that you had when you were a kid that your parents swore was the good stuff and you couldn't touch it.
I had good hockey skates. Like, if I wanted to go out and skate in the winter and play in the pond, and I started to try to take my skates out that fit, my mom would scream at me, get the old skates, you can't use your good skates on the pond.
Did you try to explain to her that you really needed that, though?
Yeah, they don't understand that the old skates aren't the good skates anymore because they don't fit. They're like 5 years old. They're useless to me. She goes, you're not using your good skates out on the pond. And that was it. That was the end of that discussion.
His mom was known as the Goon.
Did you ever try to sneak your good skates out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened one time was I skated over a rock on the pond, and then I had to try to explain why my good skates were all messed up.
Oh, that's going to make a great episode when you finally sell the sitcom of my so-called bad, awful life.
Get him some more good nights.
Speaking of which, we're eating these great cookies that Mrs. Tanaka just dropped off with us.
Hello, Dollies.
Is that the name of them?
Yeah, that's her good cookie recipe.
Did you eat one of these Wonder Boys? Let all the boys come in and try one.
Well, yeah, it's delicious.
There's so much stuff in here. She says it's an Oklahoma thing.
Yeah, there's there's nuts, there's chocolate chips, there's coconut, there's peanut butter. There's a lot of sugar.
It might be the best thing I've ever eaten in my life.
There you go, boys. Pass these around.
Thank you very much.
Now, that's Mrs. Tanaka's good Tupperware, so we can't lose that.
She literally, after she's got her name in the bottom of it, so that we have to give it back to her.
She's got an address label taped to the bottom of the lid with an American flag on it, so you can tell it's the good stuff.
There's one on the bottom of this, too.
Oh, all right. So there's no way to mess it up.
It's a set, Fezzy. It's a set. We can't give her back some bad pop.
Try to trade it out.
Man, that's good. That might be the best thing I've ever tasted in my life.
So sweet and delicious.
It's really funny, though. I like you enough to make cookies, but not enough to keep my Tupperware. That's a little too far. Now you're getting too close.
It was almost immediate, like we're known, our pictures are up at the post office as Tupperware thieves.
All right, Dubs, while you're in here, tell me what this first name is so I can understand your crazy spelling.
He can't even read it.
That must have been Punani. I think it's...
If I would guess, it would be lethargy, but I don't think anyone's name is.
Letiri.
All right, let me check. Letiri.
Hello?
Yes.
It's Letiri.
Letiri. Phonetically spell it. If it's a name that humans don't use, phonetically spell it.
No problem.
L-E-T.
Not you. I'm talking to our dopes. We're enjoying nice cookies right now from Mrs. Tanaka. Letiri, what can we do for you?
I was saying about the good stuff. It was actually my dad. He had actual chain links that you couldn't go into the living room or dining room.
He would literally put up a chain link fence.
Right. Well, it was like the chain links. It was brass for the living room and black for the dining room, and you could only move it when you went into clean once a week.
How classy.
That is so embarrassed. Like there was a murder inside. And you know what? You came up with a good thing with dads, because remember this? Your dad's good tools.
Oh, yeah.
You were not allowed to take a saw out of your own garage because that's the good tools. There was some kind of old thing in the backyard, some old saw that you were allowed to use.
Or a rusty hammer.
But did you ever bring up to your dad now that you're an adult?
Yeah, I told him that he's way too psycho about that, and the hooks are actually still in the walls.
Yeah, that's just insanity. It's literally insanity. Why don't you just say, look, you never wanted children, let's face it.
It is when you want to have a good room so much, a good nice room, that you're willing to put up chain link and make it look like Stalag 13 to keep it looking good. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. It's insanity. Why have something that can't be used? How is it any benefit to you? It'll be like buying clothes and hanging them up in the closet and never wearing them. 866-277-4969. We're talking about the good stuff. Those good stuff that your parents thought was too good for the family to ever use. Wayne, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Wayne.
Hey, how you doing, Ron and Fez?
Cool, buddy.
Hey, talking about the good stuff. I remember my parents, we finally got a new sofa. You weren't allowed to lay on it or eat dinner on it or anything like that. The thing finally wears out where you can lay down and watch TV. Instead of throwing it out, what do? They get it reupholstered, and it's the good stuff. Same thing. You can't lay on it. The whole 9 yards, it recycles all over.
I forgot about the reupholstering craze that went around for a while, like in the 70s. Everything was being reupholstered at the same time that every house was getting aluminum siding. The entire Northeast got aluminum siding within about 3 years.
My mom would take the cushion covers off the couch and just have them dyed a different color if she wanted to switch up the room a little bit.
Orange to green, one of those deals?
Exactly.
Orange to green. You know that you grew up in the 70s, if you remember orange and green. In kitchens, in dining rooms, as huge shag carpeting, which must have just kept in so many terribly ugly germs. Catherine, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Yeah.
My mother was pretty much mental about the entire house, but her pet peeve was the living room, which, we basically weren't able to go in. But we had a very plush, kind of medium gold color rug in there that when she would vacuum it, it would end up, because of the, back and forth strokes of the vacuum cleaner, it would, end up looking like the outfield at, Yankee Stadium, right after they mowed it.
It had to be perfect.
It was perfect. And then, of course, if you put your foot anywhere, then, you had your fingerprints basically on the rug, and she would know you were in there. So, no way to win.
I mean, now we would probably say that the woman has OCD and needs to take a drug. Then they were just so clean. In those days, she just likes her house and wants to keep it so particular that it was somehow considered better than other homes. 866-277-4969. 866-277-4969.
My mom says to this day to people, to anyone that'll listen, when I was younger, I had floors so clean you could eat off of them. And that was while raising 4 kids. And it's now how about if you just run a broom across every once and again?
Fez, we understand. You were abused. Everything was awful. Will, you're on the air. How are you, buddy?
Hey, doing great. How are you guys?
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it was probably in the mid-'80s, a friend of mine's dad bought a brand-new TV. And he sat my friend down and his brothers and sisters and said, look, I don't want you watching MTV on this TV, okay? This is a good one.
I know. I know exactly what you're happening with. Your dad felt like that big TV with the cabinets was somehow so wonderful that stupid cartoons shouldn't be watched on it. You're burning out the TV with your dumb shows.
Exactly.
When he's saving that for Dean Martin and NFL. That is so funny. Did your dad ever have a good jelly or something like that he didn't want the kids involved in? Something my dad would put up with anything unless he looked in his jelly when he tried to get it for morning toast and he saw either little pieces of peanut butter in there from using the same knife, which an adult will never do. And a kid's never going to grab 2 knives. You're lucky enough he's not using his finger. My dad would freak out over little pieces of peanut butter or any kind of toast shrapnel. Would just send him in straight up the stairs looking for me and my brother.
My dad had this stuff called, I think it was Lyle syrup, and no one else was allowed to use it but him.
The special syrup.
The special syrup, the good syrup, I guess. And he would also have his own stash of soda that we weren't allowed to touch.
Yeah, of course. That's his thing. I mean, is it too much to ask? The man pays for everything. And suddenly you're acting like, hey, how come we kids can't have any of those maraschino cherries that you use for your cocktails? My dad would catch me standing in the fridge trying to eat his cocktail cherries. It's so funny, man. Here is Lynette. Lynette, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi.
Yeah.
My grandmother had plastic slipcovers in the dining room and in the guest room where company would come in. These plastic slipcovers were on the couch, on the chairs, for a good 35 years, never to be removed. Additionally, she had these lamps that were like these ceramic cherubs. One was a little boy blue. The lampshades also had plastic over them for 35 years. You know, what's...
I never understand that. I never get it. Steels is telling us that several Italian people in his family have the good car, that Cadillac, that's only used for weddings and special occasions. My chick's grandfather has had the same Cadillac since 1980. I've never seen it on the road. I do go over. Sometimes he moves it to the garage, and I wish I was making this up, out into the driveway to give it a nice waxing in front of the neighbors. And I'm like, I say to him, I go, I don't even think this damn car runs. And now his eyes are so bad, I don't think he drives it anymore, but he does like to take it out for a waxing. And it looks like it gets about 3 miles to the gallon.
And that's a big chunk of change for something, well, you're just going to sit in the driveway and wax.
Trust me. He got it secondhand as it was. And I'm sure there's something wrong with the engine. I know for a fact there wasn't anything for a good chunk of change. But he did want to go out of his way to say he's got a Cadillac. And we've been hearing the rap for many years, and I don't see what he's getting out of it. Adam, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What do you say, buddy?
Hey, listen, my parents went as far as got the brass pedestals, like at the movie theater, and put the ropes, the satin ropes.
We are hearing this story time and again. It's just awful.
I mean, they actually put the satin ropes. They cut off the kitchen, and they cut off the living room. And they had the plastic in the runners that ran through there in case you got through.
They should have dressed you as a maitre d'.
Oh, they should have.
Or a bellhop. It's just crazy.
But yeah, you weren't allowed in there, and every day I'd come home, and I'd take off my shoes and run through there just to, you know what I mean.
Now, did they ever use it at all?
I think when their friends came over,
yeah. He
worked for CIA, and then my parents would have like the official suit and ties come over.
So that would be like the perfect evening.
They'd drop one link so they could enter.
And then it's right back up again. It's a VIP
right
room.
Back up again.
It's like being a ham and egg at a club, and there's a VIP room that you can't get into, and it's your own home. It's your own home.
Can I see your invitation, please?
Hanson, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, my grandma, when we were growing up, used to have a peanut butter jar that had to be clean. And when I mean clean, it had to be orderly. So she had 2 Skippy peanut butter jars next to each other. One was for the kids' use, and the other one was for the adults' use.
Now, was the adults say crunchy? Because sometimes they acted like they could only handle the crunchy peanut butter.
Right. Now, they were both creamy, so you couldn't really tell which one was which.
You know why? Because they were so disgusted by children that they didn't want your little fingers opening up their peanut butter jar. They thought we were filthy. It's just bizarre.
But it wasn't just that. It was, she had to have a clean peanut butter jar. It wasn't not like our fingers or sanitation or anything like that, but it couldn't be messed up. It had to be flat. The top of the peanut butter had to be flat.
She kept it flat at all times?
At all times. She kept it flat. She took a spatula.
That's an OCD. That's literally an OCD that was untreated back then.
Exactly.
I guarantee you. Thank you very much. And I mean, when we look back on a lot of these clean moms, there was some kind of a light mental illness going on. Light, you can be able to deal with it, but now we would take pills or see a shrink. Then it was just a clean home.
Who dented the peanut butter?
Lou, turn your radio down.
Hello?
Yeah, Lou, turn your radio down.
It's down.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I got 2 things for you, basically. OCD is my mother completely, little 4'10", Italian psycho.
Yeah.
Growing up, we had radiators in my home,
yeah.
And my mother used to pleat the curtains between the radiators, and she'd know if you looked out the windows based upon the fact that the pleats were not properly separated in the radiator.
So she wanted to keep the curtains perfect.
Perfectly pleated, 1.5-inch gaps between each pleat. And if she came home, she'd go, "Were you looking out of my windows?" And she'd go, "No, I didn't look out your windows.
I wanted to see Earth.
Out your windows."
Is that her problem? I'd like to see the planet that I live on.
Who turned this doorknob?
No, she's the absolute worst. And to this day, we always say that she's the bathroom caper, because you can't throw away tissues in our waste paper basket in our bathroom, or she comes right back in and picks them out and puts them in the main garbage.
Right.
So the bathroom garbage must always seem pristine.
Yeah, I mean, now, if she was this way now, if she was in her 20s, literally her friends would say, you have a problem. Back there was like, oh, she keeps such a good home. Oh, it's so wonderful.
It's rubbing off on me now, though.
That's the problem. That's the scary thing. Because who wants to live in a dirtier house than you grew up in? You know,
I'm actually getting to the point where I'm fixing the doormats outside of my next-door neighbor's house because they are not positioned centered in front of the door.
But I will tell you this. I mean, Fez bitches about his mom. You should see Fez's house. You could eat off his floors. Your house, everything is in its place. Like an old lady with an OCD.
I hate to have anything out of place.
Yet that same thing that you worried about as a kid, that you think is a form of your abuse because your mom wanted everything perfect, you are doing it to yourself now.
Yes, it's been passed along. I can't break the vicious cycle.
You cannot defeat this woman for whatever reason. In your mind, you can't break a cycle of a little old lady. Why you have given her so much power over your life is just amazing to me.
We still get this on Thanksgiving. She'll get the dishwasher all emptied, all the breakfast dishes or anything out of there. If you put another plate in the empty dishwasher, she will grab it and wash it and take it out of there because that dishwasher has to stay empty for Thanksgiving dishes.
Fezzy, now you find this horrifying, right? You are the same person. You're the person whose stapler has to be in the same spot, or you have become her.
Yes, look what's happened to me.
Yet at the same time, you will scream at Wonder Boy for moving a stapler. You saw Dubs sitting in your seat today. You were just completely taken aback.
Well, he left soda rings on my desk.
You're making him into Baby Fez, where he's now petrified of you. I want you to do something for me.
What's that?
I want you to leave some soda rings on your desk. I want you to leave your shoes out in the middle of the room tonight when you go to sleep. You know why?
Why?
There's no mean lady there to stop you anymore.
I could get up and trip over them. Someone's going to trip over and break their neck.
Guess what?
Mother.
No one will. And I'm telling you the truth. Nobody will. And you can stop taking the pills and just start and deal with this stuff. Start and deal with it.
And leave some dishes in the sink?
Yes.
Ew.
I'm going to call Wonder Boy over. Wonder Boy, I mean, I know that you say you're always nervous around Fez and you're always walking around like you're walking on eggshells.
Yes.
Do you think this is a good idea for him to learn some things?
Yeah.
Maybe mess up his papers? Go over there and mess up his notebook and maybe at a couple different papers, just scratch things into it with a red pen.
Don't do that, Wonder Boy. Everything's right where I want it and everything's right where I need it.
You're carrying this stuff around like Polo, like a crazy old person.
I have 2 screenplays and 100 original songs in there.
Okay, I got the joke, but no one else is going to. Chris, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey, with the maraschino cherries, you reminded me of another one. The gherkins and the French's onions were the good food that you could only eat at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Any other time of the year, it had to be 100 years old in the refrigerator and you couldn't touch it.
Yeah, that's a real good point. There was that stuff that basically, let's face it, they were keeping for other adults to come over and enjoy them. For whatever your kid hunger was, it meant nothing to them.
Any can of nuts was on the list of foods we were not allowed to eat.
Yes, and now you have doilies in your own home. So, Fez, I'm trying to explain to you, you've become that woman.
I don't even eat my own nuts. Damn it.
CJ.
Hey, Ron and Fez.
How you doing, darling?
Good. My stepdad, I remember about being 8 and 9, he had the good weed. And it was always to be smoked in the good bong. And only, before a really important game.
Right.
Or before a cliffhanger on Dallas or growing up.
So, I mean, he would have his normal ragweed during the week.
Exactly.
But then he would keep that good bud somewhere away that he could just enjoy for those special occasions.
That's right. And the ragweed would be out on the, lined up ready for the next bong hit out on the Media General Cable Guide.
I also remember that my parents would have the good Tullamore Dew whiskey sitting out, although the Seagram's and 7 was down in the cabinet somewhere, like a well drink.
Exactly.
Oh, let me get this for my uncle. Here, do a shot of this. Like we sat around drinking Tullamore Dew at our house. Like we were...
Have you ever tasted anything like this?
Well, believe me, everyone in my family knew it. They just didn't buy it. They've all tasted it all. But he just wanted to act like this is what we drink. Now you're in my home. It's self. We'll take a break. We're coming right back. And big thanks, big thanks, Fezzy, for these fantastic cookies that we got, these Hello Dollies.
The Hello Dollies from Mrs. Tanaka. She's so nice. Pat's mom.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep this Tupperware for myself. I could really put I'll put brownies in there later. Fez, why don't you bake something and we'll give it back to her with that in there?
Oh, I could try that.
And we'll just keep going back and forth, because there's nothing we can make that is as good as these Hello Dollies. I feel even a little bad we let the guys have any. That's the good cookies.
I think it should just be satisfied if she got her Tupperware back. You know, even though she said it, there was that look in her eye like, I'll never see that dish again.
Yeah, I know. She did worry about the Tupperware, but we've got names on the top and bottom. We're taking a break. We're right back. You're listening to Ron and Fez.